From Variety, celebrating more than 118 years covering the business of entertainment, this is the Awards Circuit Podcast. The 2024 Emmy nominations are out.
Say, let's get started.
Let's do it. And here are the nominees for Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series.
Baby Reindeer, Fargo, Lessons in Chemistry, Ripley, True Detective, Night Country.
And here are the nominees for Outstanding Drama Series.
The Crown, Fallout, The Gilded Age, The Morning Show, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Shogun, Slow Horses, Three Body Problem.
Here are the nominees for Outstanding Comedy Series.
Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Palm Royale, Reservation Dogs, What We Do in the Shadows.
Congratulations to all of today's nominees.
I'm Michael Schneider, and on this episode of the award-winning Variety Award Circuit Podcast, an all-roundtable edition as we dissect this year's big Emmy nominees like Shogun and The Bear, and a lot more snubs, surprises, and winning picks. It's all next on this edition of the Variety Award Circuit Podcast. Stay close. And we're back, everybody.
Took a little breather, and now we're back. I can't talk either.
We're all a little rusty now. Forgot what it was like to talk into a microphone. But here we are. It is, as we're recording this, Emmy nomination Wednesday. And we're all exhausted because we were up early. Although not as early as we once were. So kudos to the TV Academy for moving the announcements.
8:30.
8:30. That is civilized.
We love an 8:30 start.
Yes.
That is
Thanks,
civilized.
Chris Abrego.
Yes. Chris
It's just
Abrego
so
is the
different
best.
when you're here versus the East Coast, because even when it was early on the East Coast, like you didn't have to wake up that early. Here it's like, oh, I have to drive in rush hour. So now I have to get up really early.
It took me longer to drive here, coming in earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But we're here, and I gotta say, interesting choices this year. There's a lot of exhale. I will say first and foremost, Reservation Dogs.
Whoop, whoop.
Before we even get into specifics, can I just talk about pound for pound? I think maybe my favorite Emmy lineup, of, and I'm
Overall.
gonna say diversity, but I'm not talking about people of color. I'm talking about what they decided to
Yes.
Yeah,
across
they
the
mixed
board.
it up.
The mix.
Yeah.
We didn't have that White Lotus dope sick. We kind of did in one area, but other than that, it was. I think this is the most unique number of shows maybe recognized in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really exciting to see so many different shows. I always am like, ooh, when there's something that gets added in that I didn't think of, but I also really like that.
Yeah. But then you start having those realizations oh, that's there. That means something.
Yeah, is it?
And then you realize what missed.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, you still had a lot of shows with a lot of nominations, so that did still sort of limit, how many shows got, in supporting actress in a drama series category, for example, it's 3 shows. It's Morning Show,
And that's
The Crown.
Yep, that's the one.
So you do have a couple of fields where things were a little limited, and when you have shows like Shogun get 25 and The Bear get 23, that means that's a lot of slots.
But still have misses.
That's what I was going to say.
Acting.
I think that's an overall kind of theme. I know we're going to dive into more, but I think it's the down the line voting has definitely changed a bit. That it used to really be up and down the ballot. A lot of the time we would see that. And for The Bear, that's not the case because there was everyone in the guest category could have been gone to The Bear. Or in Shogun, there's some real, I'm still so confused by a few things. So I do think that that whole theme of voting down the line has changed. Cosmo Jarvis not getting nominated will blow my mind forever. But yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, not everyone could get nominated in every show. So
Right.
Yeah, a lot.
you're going to have those snubs.
As much as this was unique in a lot of ways, there were also some places where I was like, "Oh, you put up your famous friend."
Totally.
I was like, "Oh, there's no reason why this is happening here." So Cosmo missing was that hurt. But actually, to backtrack to where you appropriately started, Res Dogs.
Yeah, that was the
great.
moment when we were sitting around the table this morning, and the second we saw that it was like, okay,
we did it, Joe.
There's
we did it, Joe.
there's some There's some good still in the world.
I can't, like, it's still unreal that it happened. Like,
I feel the same way about Selena Gomez.
I mean,
To me, it was just
next one.
There's
so
a cheat code to that one, though,
excited.
of why. Because if I knew there were going to be 6, then yeah, I would have predicted her all
Interesting.
along.
It's interesting that they changed
No
it
one's
up.
explained to us yet why there are 6.
Well, usually it's because there was a tie, but we don't have that confirmed yet.
If there was a tie in one, then they would just have
There's
parity.
gotta
They'd
be
have
parity.
to add.
Yeah, maybe that is what
So
happened.
one of them,
We better get
they
on
must have
that.
had a tie.
Watch this
A
space.
tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 2% rule doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore, so it has to be an outright tie.
Literal exact
Yeah.
tie.
Can I just say what was so great about Res Dogs, though, was that it didn't just get the one nomination.
Yeah.
Like, it got acting. It got stuff.
It wasn't
like,
Emily in
the
Paris.
Right.
It wasn't like, here's comedy series and production design only. We'll
Yeah.
see you later.
It's like, here's editing, here's cinematography, here's acting.
Yeah. Well, DeFaro. And so, by the way, real quick, guys, I find this hysterical. I need to put this somewhere. Is maybe DeFaro got nominated because his character's name is Bear?
Oh my gosh.
Just
Mike, I'm
saying.
sending you right to jail.
FX loves the bear. Voters love the bear. Maybe they're like, we love Bear so much. They have a character named Bear on Res Dogs. Let's give him a
my
nomination too.
gosh.
I'm just saying.
I mean, they might
Just
have misread it. You never know. And by the way, he was just as, like, I mean, it comes in opposite forms. It could come A to the Z or Z through A. I'm pretty sure he was bottom of the ballot. So if it came reverse, he's the first name you check off. And
There you go.
alphabetical
Oh,
order
your
does
theory.
matter.
Yeah, it does. It
Sometimes.
does definitely
There
impact
you
stuff
go.
sometimes.
But yeah, oh my God. And not just Res Dogs, right? Because here, I was on the mic train. You and I have been working at this for a long time. I'm taking personal responsibility for this along with you. I would have done Res Dogs with What We Do in the Shadows. They did both.
Yeah.
On top of the bear.
That was
I'm so
astounding.
happy with that.
Yeah.
I honestly am so happy with that.
That is the story of the day. It's just FX. Like, listen, their best was 56. I was projecting 78 and was like, it probably will be around 70. And they flex, like really flex today.
I mean, they are all just besides themselves at
Yeah.
FX this morning. So I talked to John Landgraf, and he's normally pretty unflappable, but he kept like saying some weird things. I think he kept like mixing his metaphors, and John Solberg had to keep coming in and say, "Well, this is what
What he actually means."
And I want to also add this stat that I find so interesting that we brought up in the room this morning when we were talking is that obviously Netflix was the top with 107 nominations, and that was across 35 different programs. We all know that Netflix puts out 1,000 things a year, and that's not an accurate number because who could count? But with FX, their 93 nominations was over 9 shows.
That
is the biggest. Like, you don't need any explanation. That is so
Wow.
impressive.
I mean, they had the 2 biggest shows of the year, of course, in Shogun and the Bear, but then, they spread it out. You mentioned What We Do in the Shadows, but Welcome to Wrexham
yeah.
Yep.
got some love. And of course, Fargo. Let's not forget Fargo.
Fargo, 15 Fargo. Like,
Yeah, that's a
15,
lot.
like, which is what it did like in previous years, except for season 3. Season 3 was like completely like, not well received. But like it like came back. They don't do that. They don't come back to shows in big ways. Also True Detective flexing, I think, the
For
most
HBO,
of
yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
19 was like almost obscene at times.
That's
I
a
was like,
lot.
and it didn't pick up like any like what I call like the egregious acting noms. Like Christopher Eccleston didn't get in just because. Like it really just did like Jodie, John, Callie, and then all the techs.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy year where HBO still got 91 nominations. That's nothing to sneeze at, but that ended up being 3rd place, which is a little crazy. But yeah, they still did quite well with most categories and got in Gilded Age, for sort of their drama replacements. They wait for House of the Dragon to return. And then there's our friends at Apple TV Plus, which also had quite a good day. 72
their
or
best-
70, depending on who you talk to.
And that's their best yet.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
one. That's their
Like
best.
best
yet.
by a lot. And, I mean, morning show, and listen, and we talked about maybe Slow Horses was the red herring Yellowstone of the year.
Not about horses.
Yeah, not about horses, nor is it slow, I guess. And then it like showed up. Jack Cloud, I call him Mr. Saoirse Ronan, got in supporting actor drama.
I mean, 9 nominations going from 0 to 9.
Which is big.
We started digging because Emily asked me, she was like, has a show ever blanked for 2 seasons?
Yeah.
And then came, and then I found it pretty quick. Schitt's Creek
course.
blanked for 4 seasons.
Wow, okay.
And then
That
got
Netflix
some
power.
fifth, and then
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
It was over.
But Jack was a surprise because Gary, I kind of figured, and I had Jack in because I was like, are you gonna, especially with this season, right? I was like, are you gonna really vote for Gary and miss Jack? Jack's storyline was great. And it was like, and then he got in.
He's there. And then along with Apple, first time Jen and Reese are going to go together.
Yeah.
They're going to go to the ceremony together as nominees together.
Right. So a lot of these casts that have been split up in recent years, like Only Murders and Morning Show, now they all have reason to celebrate.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. That's a nice thing.
But
to
it was
see.
also like, if you can't do it this year, man, it's
Yeah.
never going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
There
on
was
both
a-
ends.
yeah.
On both ends, Only Murders and Morning Show.
And then Apple also got Palm Royale in comedy series.
11
Yep.
nods, which pretty.
I will say that was one of my biggest surprises that it got that
That
many.
it cracked double digits.
I mean, I adore the cast,
Yeah.
but the show in general, I just didn't see it really making a splash.
And it's funny. So that gets 11, and Luke got 1.
Right.
Like,
But Maya Rudolph got 4
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
over 3 different shows.
But also, speaking of Apple, Idris Elba getting in for Hijack.
So
Another
I'm
shot.
going to be very nice here. I think that was the one I voted for my famous friend because I don't know who really watched Hijack.
I don't know one person who watched
that
I know
track-
one
know.
person.
Sorry, guys. Dad TV.
I mean,
this is Dad
there you go.
I
TV,
love
the
that.
revenge of Dad TV. Hijack was
I'm here for
such
that.
the epitome of Dad TV. It was fun. It was a fun
was
show.
How
fun?
long
Okay.
ago was it? Like, it was also a long time ago. I feel like they didn't really campaign it. And by the way, only nomination for the show.
Right.
So
Well,
I'd
yeah.
be on
But
board with Dad TV.
it's also just Idris is Idris,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
100%. That's what
like,
you're nominating.
Let's
Yeah.
get this guy to the
Leapfrog
ceremony now.
Cosmo.
But I mean, we should we could have had. I feel like if Dad TV it was just that, we would have had Reacher. We would have had all those other shows. I mean, to me, those are all the same.
I'll
Not
say-
in a bad way.
Well,
That's
Dad,
I'll
Dad
say-
TV plus Idris
Yeah.
equals a
exactly.
nomination.
That's true.
So-
Speaking of Dad TV, I also want to mention that broadcast also kind of made a comeback this year with going back into the top 5 with most nominations. ABC and CBS tied with 38 nominations, which is a really big deal. First time in 3 or 4 years that they've both
in the top
upped
5.
30.
So
Yeah,
so-
well, that is helped, of course, not by scripted necessarily, but it's helped by late night. It's helped by specials
Of course.
and game shows now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, of course, for ABC, Abbott is a big
Yeah.
part of that.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
Colbert
gonna say,
is a big part of CBS.
that feels appropriate for ABC to me. CBS, again, what you said, Mike, with helped out with late night and things like
And
that.
specials, yeah.
But
Yeah.
like but where I thought it would show up, it didn't. Like Elsbeth blanked, right?
Yeah.
Young Sheldon blanked,
Yep.
I think.
yeah.
So like
Ghosts. Like,
Right.
it just
Blank.
doesn't-
I mean, there's a few, Frasier got a few of the below the line noms, but no
and
acting
that's
noms.
Yeah.
technically Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, by the way, was just split between Frasier and Fellow Travelers, and that was
Yeah.
it. And that was all it got. Curse blanked.
Blanked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is Showtime, formerly
Of
Showtime.
course.
Well, I think forever, we used to talk about how the CW was always blanked. Well, now, of course, they're going to forever be blank since they have nothing anymore
Yeah.
as contenders.
I mean, they
But-
do, but like you never know. One
the-
F-Boy Island, man. One day.
That's true. But the network I feel bad for every year because they try and then they just never get anything as stars.
Same, because you know what? I don't know if people have stars or are able to watch stars. I think once they officially aren't there anymore and their content is sold or something, maybe they'll have it because they do have some good content, but it's just not.
Yeah, I
breaking
think
through.
I think they had the same problem that the Curse had. Like people were asking me, like, why do you think the Curse blanked? I don't think anyone saw it. Like
Same.
I don't think enough people. Like I think people who saw it were divided on it because it is a divisive show, and then on top of that, I don't think it was widely watched.
Yeah.
Stars, because Mary and George, people love Mary and George, but I know the 10 people.
I don't know.
talk
I don't
about
know
Mary-
one
It
person.
got one
who's read it.
costume.
Oh, did it get?
Oh, did it?
Oh,
Well, that's
yeah.
good.
because I actually didn't know that.
Another network, now that Better Call Saul is gone, nothing for AMC.
Oh.
That's another end of an era. To
That
go
is an
from
end of an era.
AMC
Breaking Bad.
at its height when it had Mad Men and Breaking Bad and all those shows was one of the dominant forces.
To be
And-
fair,
people-
Silo is a pro with AMC.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I just looked this up.
Oh, I think we kind of count that as Apple, though, but sure.
100% we count it as Apple, and I'm sure Apple is counting it toward their count, obviously, since they're counting commercials.
Well, I think you bring up the good point of the point that I think is not being lost here. Rebuild years are hard. HBO is in its rebuild year, and in a rebuild year, it's 91, right?
An HBO rebuild year is a very different kind of year than most other networks.
But like it is hard to rebuild. Like getting there, like when Mad Men and Breaking Bad was over, and it was just even with Better Call Saul, like that was hard even in itself, and it's just hard. Like Gilded Age, right? Because like they got in drama series. It still didn't do as well as it probably should have.
Yeah.
It got 6.
But I mean, it's barely gotten anything in the past.
This
is the first time
it's one in the past. So now it has
right.
so like this. The 6 is
that's a big plus.
That's a big huge jump. But yeah, it's
shout out to a couple, Carrie Coon and Tracy Letts. They're going to be there together because they're nominees.
And shout out to Holland Taylor and Sarah Paulson. They'll be there together.
Both also nominees.
Someone asked me, they're like, how did Holland Taylor make it? I was like, listen, they wanted Sarah Paulson to make sure, they save it on tickets. No +1s needed.
Also, I mean, who doesn't love Helen Taylor?
I know,
she was excellent in this season, so I don't know who would ever ask where
so many
she
morning
would
show
be.
people, just so many.
Do we have a third couple? Because then it's a trend.
I mean, it's a trend.
I'm sure it
is. There's somewhere there's
will
like
find it.
it's always producers. Oh, Justin Marks and Rachel for Shogun.
Kondo, yeah.
Shogun.
Wait, they're a couple?
Yeah, they're married. Yeah.
News to me.
Oh, yeah.
Was just with them
They're
at the
actually, like,
TCA Awards, had a conversation
They're
with
actually
them,
one of
had
my
no
favorite
clue.
couples. They're like so much fun.
Jeez, talk about a power couple. My God.
I was watching Clayton try to get a invite to their estate.
I did not
in
try
Maui.
to get an invite. They invited me straight up and said, come to Maui and come hang out. And I was like,
And
sure.
Clayton's like, yes, I will.
Yeah,
And
I'll take you up on that one
and
day.
they're like,
Oh my
oh
God.
no, now we have to.
Yeah, I was like, get someone else on there. No, so where were we now?
Couples.
Morning show and all those other surprises. I think also it's good to talk about here is diversity this year, acting wise. Now I'm going to talk about race and ethnicity. Up from last year, a third of the acting nominees are people of color, which is great. And what I love especially about this year, it seems like everyone got something. Asians, Indigenous, Latinos, like everyone, Black people, everyone was just there's like 3 acting categories that the majority are people of color, and that doesn't happen very often. And I'm just like, this
cool.
feels
That's
nice.
good.
Yeah,
really
and
nice
a
to see.
real breakthrough in Indigenous actors,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
There was only 1 before today, and we got 3 this year.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Lily, man. Sole nominee for by the way, we don't understand, like, especially nowadays, being the sole acting nomination or sole nomination period for your show is not a thing anymore. And we have Lily Gladstone, Robert Downey Jr. sitting there with like, as the only representation, which now Robert Downey Jr., is he still the front runner? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we could go into snubs a little bit. Yeah, the fact that the sympathizer just did not pan out was a little disappointing.
I would say the sympathizer and the regime. Just everyone forgot that existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's a surprise if it wasn't Kate Winslet. If it was if it was a different series that starred someone else, I can see how it would be forgotten. But a Kate Winslet show being completely forgotten and just not even mentioned seems wild.
Did it get anything? Did it get costumes or anything, or was it like
I
was it
think
zero?
it got
Because I think
did it
Regime
get?
was earlier. I think it was March or February when it
it
got
dropped.
costumes.
Costumes. Okay. So March or February was when Regime got mixed reviews. Sympathizer was mixed to good reviews. I think people who really liked it, but again, don't know how many people watched it. And I think it does get this happened with Squid Game and Pachinko. When there's a lot of non-English language speaking, voters are like, maybe I can only do one of these. It's hard for me to do multiple.
Yeah.
And I think Shogun ate up a lot of that. People that were willing to give themselves different programming.
Yeah.
Also, talk about representation, trans representation from Baby Reindeer.
Nava Mao. Second in the main acting categories after MJ Rodriguez, third acting ever which includes then Laverne Cox for Orange is the New Black, who got nominated a bunch of times in guest acting. So
Amazing.
And also the third Latina ever to be nominated in that category. I didn't get mad today.
Yeah.
Although, can I boast? Can I really? I've been dying to do this.
Yeah.
I told you there was going to be a nominee that everyone hated that was going to get in, and that was Unfrosted. And there it is in TV movie.
I'm so mad.
Jerry Seinfeld, right there. I knew, like, it was.
I'm not surprised. I mean, TV movie, that's kind of the easiest category now to get into.
By the way, I think now last year was an anomaly, but all TV movie nominees, that's their only nomination for their movies. Nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, for Mr. Monk, Tony Shalhoub obviously is a perennial nominee, but not this time. But I guess he still at least gets...
He's a producer.
Yeah, he gets something from Mr. Monk. But yeah, that's TV movie. That's a category that needs some sort of... my
predictions are going to change the name next year, so we get more prestigious stuff. You have to call it television film. I think filmmakers get very it's not a TV movie because it's been used as a slur in cinematic world where it's outstanding cinematic experience.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Well, it does feel like it's becoming a little bit more of a. We have this movie here. It wasn't quite ready for theaters, and we aired it. We're not going to put it into any feature academy, so we might as well make it a TV movie. We'll call it a TV movie, and it's kind of seen as an afterthought.
Can we giggle that the worst reviewed season of The Crown is up in nominations now up to 18?
I'm proud of them, though, because it is the last hurrah, and that show has been such a big part of Netflix's success in the Emmys that it's nice to see that they're going out on top.
Yeah. You know what? It came to me like a little bit of a vision the other day because I think we've all been like, Elizabeth Debicki's just going to win. Mm-hmm. Leslie Manville, man.
Yeah.
We're going to get an Olivia Colman switcheroo. Mm-hmm. It's going to come. She's going to win on the day. She's not going to be there probably. She'll be in England, but that would be it. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you want to talk about this little gem?
That did quite well.
Not even quite well, 16?
Yeah.
16?
That's a lot. Huge. And a lot of guests. 5 guests.
So many guests.
I mean.
Donald and Maya?
Well, this is where, we were talking about earlier that things, the wealth was spread, but not in all cases. Like there's some cases where it was like a straight ticket, and for some reason it was that. I mean, Amazon Prime Video, they had that in Fallout to be really excited about. Two big shows that did 16. Quite well.
Yeah.
I think I just realized, did Fallout miss directing? Jonathan Nolan miss director?
Quick Google search.
He did, yes. He missed.
Wow.
Ooh. And still got 16.
Yeah.
Good for that. That's crazy. Abbott finally got directing.
Yeah. I'm really happy with Abbott's show. I feel like it's a good mix of people. Of course, nothing for Lisa Ann Walter,
or Chris Perfetti.
Which is so sad.
But I'm very happy. Janelle James, obviously Cheryl Lee Ralph, Tyler. I'm real thrilled with that.
More surprises. Matt Berry getting a nomination, in lead actor for What We Do in the Shadows.
My jaw hit the floor.
I love me some Matt Berry, but I did not expect that.
Listen, he's peaking at 50, man. He's just hitting his best years now. And What We Do, and this is like a limp year of What We Do in the Shadows, but it's also going into its final season next year. So I wonder, if they go crazy for it next year and just we start seeing Kayvon and everybody.
Do you think there's anyone in the world who accurately predicted lead actor in a comedy?
No.
This year?
No, there's no way.
Between Matt Berry and DeFaro, there's no way anyone saw this.
I can't. Find me someone who predicted DeFaro. I can't.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody did.
I think I had DeFaro at 9, and I felt like that was I was stopping myself at 7.
Right.
That's what was crazy, that we still got 6, and Kelsey Grammer still didn't make it, and that's what I think was crazy.
Yeah, that's a surprise, and maybe that is. I mean, that's an issue of just Paramount Plus still not being in the zeitgeist in the same way that some of these other outlets are.
Curb really underperformed. Also, it only did 4
Yeah, I was surprised that more guests didn't get in for that.
Well, it's
Or
funny. It was funny about that because we always say campaigning still matters. Larry David did 0 campaigning and he got in, but JB Smoove, who came out and sat with Mike in a room for hours, with
Love
Susie
that man.
Essman.
I know
and
the rest of
them.
those folks. Yeah.
They all made the push, but
Yeah.
Feud. Can we talk about Feud getting
Double-digit Feud?
double-digit nominations?
By the way, totally number 6 in limited series. Like totally was number 6. I could bank on it was number 6 now.
yeah, I mean, I'm not completely surprised just because of the A-list cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more surprised that Diane was the sole acting nominee
Yeah.
and
Well,
not
No,
Chloe.
No, what's it?
No, wait,
Treat Williams was
It
nominated.
was nominated in every acting category.
Oh, wait. Maybe
It's
yeah.
the only other
Treat?
show besides Only Murders that got every acting nomination. The thing that's funny is it got every acting category and still didn't get into limited series.
Okay, so maybe I'm just surprised that Chloe didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
because Tom got nominated, Tom Hollander,
Naomi
and
got
Naomi,
in.
and then Treat,
Yeah.
and Diane.
Just Chloe.
Bananas.
So among the SNL cast, Bowen Yang.
So proud of Bowen Yang.
So
Love it.
Just, I don't want to just give us more credit here, but I'm pretty sure Emily Longaretta wrote this as an amazing cover story. I think that has something to do with
But
it.
to be fair, it was him and Keenan, and unfortunately, Keenan did not get nominated, which
6
is a miss
spots,
for
man.
me.
6 spots is
But,
hard.
And the women of SNL who seem to always get ignored. Not always. Obviously, they have been honored in the
Since
past.
Kate
but
McKinnon, it's been
tough.
rough.
And Heidi Gardner really deserved it this year, so I'm pretty sad about that.
I really love Sarah Sherman on the show. I think
Same.
she's peaking on that show. They need to get to that eventually.
We have to talk about Unscripted also because Jeff Probst was nominated. I'm so thrilled, but I'm so bummed that Survivor was not. I will say.
Say why.
They could have submitted 45 or 46, and they submitted 46, which was a huge mistake on their part.
I will write a book one day. I'm telling you, I'm going to write a book one day of the biggest fumbles in awards history, and I will include that now.
So for the folks who haven't been watching Survivor, what was it about?
Explain it to Mike.
Season 46.
Yeah, so season 46 was fine. There was nothing wrong with 46. It was not a bad season, and it was the only season that everyone who went home actually had an idol in their pocket. Everyone that was blindsided, which is hilarious and makes a good show. But 45 featured every moment, every episode had an incredible moment of storytelling. So it was crazy to me that 45 would not have been the choice. If you go to variety.com and read my cover story with Jeff Probst from our Emmy issue, he does explain a little bit about it, but kind of also seems a little puzzled of why they chose that. Even though he is the showrunner, so he definitely has a say. But bummed me out, but in the same breath, very happy for Amazing Race getting back in there.
As a Survivor head, I just have to say, season 45 I thought was pretty bad. It's one of my least favorite Survivor seasons. Season 46 is the good old days. When I say this was the best season.
Wait, are you saying... I think you're doing it the other way around.
Am I doing opposite?
Yes.
45 is the most recent.
No, 46 is the most recent one.
Yeah, 46 is, I think, the best season.
So that's the one they did submit.
You said they submitted the first half. Wait.
No.
They submitted the fall season, not the spring.
You guys you're confusing.
Oh, yeah. Because, for anyone that knows, Survivor splits into 2 seasons. There's one in the fall, one in the spring. They submitted the spring or the fall?
Spring one.
Oh, that's a good one. Then I don't understand why I think that's the best season.
Wow. I don't. So that's so interesting. And but I am kind of happy to hear you say that.
So you two cancel each other out, which is why my Amazing Race got back in as a Amazing Race case.
But no Phil.
I just made that up.
No Phil.
Drag Race
I know.
Wait, can I just say something? Everybody knows I love Drag Race, but I was really happy to see the traders, and I'm happy for Rue and I'm happy for Alencon, but I was so happy to see Kristen Kish nominated.
Yeah.
For sure.
She's been amazing.
Top Chef held on.
Yes, with that change.
Because Traders was coming in, and I thought Squid Game was going to make it, the challenge, and then it ended up missing. But it held on. There was a rebuild year for them, and I'm very impressed.
And it's been she's done a great job.
Oh, I think she's great.
Yeah.
I think she's a great personality for everything, especially for the show.
I think it's also important to know that The Golden Bachelor did get a nom for casting, which makes complete sense because it gave us that amazing group of women. So
Yeah.
the couple didn't work out, but I think it's really great that that's what it was highlighted for, because the ABC and Warner Brothers team that did the work there in finding great
I liked
women.
seeing that.
So yeah,
A little bit more in the reality space. Queer Eye stumbled
Missed.
a lot. They missed host.
Missed host,
They got
yeah.
2 nominations overall. I think, first of all, I think Traitors is going to win
I think
a
so,
competition. And then when you go to structured and unstructured, I mean, Welcome to Wrexham did 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Love is Blind is still in the race, though.
But Love on the Spectrum is right there.
That's true.
And that is great television.
So, Traitors coming out on reality competition. Do we think this might be the year that
I think
Rue is vulnerable?
I think either Traitors or Alan Cumming will win. I don't know if he'll win both.
Yeah.
But I think one of those is going to unseat it.
Here's where I think, yes, it could unseat it, but I also wonder, because there's so much happening in the world right now with, like the LGBTQ hate and all of that. I wonder if Drag Race just
feels timely.
Feels.
I mean, you also.
But when has it not been timely? To be honest,
and,
Right.
Unfortunately, in the world we're in,
and you still hit that with Alan Cumming.
that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, I could see Alan Cumming getting host. Because
I feel like that's the appropriate.
That might be the way it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Elephant. Scripted variety and talk series, man.
So
the last of it, hopefully, that we'll see them separated.
So first off, scripted variety, we did get the 2 that we were expecting with Last Week Tonight and SNL.
Yes.
So
2 out of 4, good for you.
So that continues. Another solid performance for SNL, 17, the most of any broadcast show this year.
Went up from last
good
year.
for them.
Yeah. But then talk, so there were only 4 slots. But we got Late Night with Seth Meyers back in there.
Yay.
Along with
3 in a row now. It's a staple. Good.
Daily Show, Kimmel, and Colbert. But that means that
Mulaney.
So we're not, on the one hand, you're not going to have all the gripes from the other shows. Like Mulaney only did a week's worth of episodes. It's not a different kind of show.
Right.
But it was a good show, and it's unfortunate that Mulaney did not get much attention.
I mean,
at the noms.
I think it's funny. Jessica said this to me, and when we first saw the Mulaney show, and she says, "This is good to me because I live in LA. If I didn't live here, who is this for?" And I think about those TV Academy members that aren't from LA or don't live here, and they were like, "What?" It is very specific, so maybe that had something to do with it.
I'm sure that was a part of it. Yeah,
and then there's also just the late night guys are stable. I thought Colbert was actually going to be the vulnerable one this year.
I knew there was no way of that because of the election.
Yeah.
I feel like in the state we're in, Colbert is not going to miss.
But
I mean, more likely, the Daily Show. Before Jon Stewart returned, probably would have been vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, there was also that little bit of a question mark of, are they recognizing Jon Stewart as back on the Daily Show because he's only on 1 day a week, so he's doing something different than everybody else. So, I mean, whatever. I mean, we got the standard 4 here, and now I don't know who wins, but also I didn't know who was going to win last year either.
Can we just discuss the outstanding narrator category? David Attenborough, Angela Bassett, Morgan Freeman, Paul Rudd, and Octavia Spencer.
All these up-and-comers.
What?
Yeah, newcomers. I don't know any of those people.
The embarrassment of riches in this category is just wild.
Also another category where people of color are overwhelmingly dominating. I mean, listen, to say Morgan Freeman got in for a narrator, it's kind of you better.
What else? What else?
Who else are you going to choose? And Angela Bassett for something called Queens. On top of that,
that's actually a really good show. Right?
I'm saying it's really on brand. It's you better do it.
Are there civilian narrators anymore, or are the only people who narrate things huge celebrities?
I mean,
it's mostly celebrities, right?
Yeah.
Because I do feel bad for the, just your regular voiceover folks who just don't have that opportunity now because the celebrities know it's a good gig. Kind of like game show host, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we got game show host now. Another year of the typical ones, the
Jane
ones we're
Lynch,
expecting.
Man. Jane Lynch came back.
Keke Palmer won though this year.
Palmer won. Yeah, Pat Sajak. I don't know if that whole final season thing is going to hold up as a narrative anymore because he's not done.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, he has lingering. Yeah,
but he'll be there next year.
Yeah, so he'll be eligible next year. You're right.
Congrats, Keke. I don't know.
2-time Emmy winner.
I'll take it. She's the first Black woman to win that category. Do it again.
It is interesting that for whatever reason, Family Feud, it's the celebrity edition only, not daytime, but yet Wheel of Fortune is both the primetime and daytime version that was nominated. So it's still kind of confusing.
It is weird because I think initially you could submit them as two separate entities. Like Is It Cake was in there as one, even though it was 3 seasons entered in there. Wouldn't get nominated, obviously.
Wild.
It becomes very weird.
I just realized Jonathan Pryce has 2 Emmy nominations today. Yeah. And Paul Dano, who doesn't have an Oscar nomination.
No, he does not. I forgot he was on Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So then
Same. When I wrote it in a story today, I was very surprised. Had no memory of that.
Oh, Sarah Paulson.
MVP though of the day was Maya Rudolph.
100%.
Yeah.
4, man.
4, but 3 within 3 shows. Everyone's like, oh well, a lot of people are double nominees because producer and star or writer and star. But for the fact that she has 3 different projects, I mean SNL, Loot, and Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
I'm double checking. I don't think this is the first time she's gotten 4.
Really?
I think she might have gotten 4.
Yeah, I feel like she's a favorite for a while, but to have as many different shows nominated as she does is pretty astounding.
Yeah, busy bee
as a performer. So shout out to her.
Hey, listen, no gripes, man. Honey, make things forever. Actually, no, this is the person she's gotten 4. She got 3 in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, she's been I feel like she's beloved.
Yeah, because she got double nominated in Guest Actress in 2020. So yeah, she's gotten 2 and 3s before, never 4s.
Amazing.
Also, in a couple of weeks, I'm moderating a Crapopolis panel at Comic-Con. So now I'm going to be able to introduce it as Emmy-nominated Crapopolis.
In what world?
You've been dying to say.
Is that his first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it's Hannah Waddingham, which, she's deserved.
People love her. So it doesn't give her all the awards, honestly.
So we're allowed, her Christmas special got a couple of nominations as well. So,
boo on final season of Archer. Getting
it's funny. That was the one thing when I talked to the FX folks today. They're like, "Listen, we can't really gripe, but we are kind of bummed that Archer didn't get in." But
because that's such a good run for such a long time, and then when Emmys move on, they move on. That's why it's really crazy that True Detective and Fargo came back the way they did. Because people move on. Yeah. Well, I mean, those were 2 cases of shows that really reinvented themselves. So in many ways, they were just new shows. Right. So I kind of get it. And, it's also just a different landscape this year. That's interesting to see a lot of these dramas make it in, partly because it was such a dry year for returning dramas that suddenly you get a 3-body problem, which I know there was a lot of debate over 3-body problem, really, but we were all talking about it. We knew that it was going to get in, but with those creators, I mean, it's not surprising. Yeah. And I think the biggest takeaway, just when you look at, then you have to look at all the nominations as a whole. I don't feel as cemented that Shogun, the Bear, and Baby Reindeer are the front runners. They all have a road to being beaten by something else. Yeah, I think that this year, front runners mean something different this year because it is a lot of the shows that came out didn't just come out with 1 or 2. A lot of those had those big shows landed double-digit nominations, and they're all big contenders. It's not this person snuck in. This show is really beloved by voters. Yeah, with Shogun, the non-English language is still a barrier. Squid Game is the most watched Netflix show of all time, and everyone watches Netflix, and that couldn't do it. Yeah. And lost against the worst season of Succession, with season 3. The Bear has a reverse problem because last year, season 2 really helped it win Emmys, and season 3 is getting beat up right now. So what happens there? Do people have a reverse effect? And does breaking the comedy series record hurt it? Because people are like, wait. Right. My favorite tweet I have to say, someone said it got 23 nominations, breaking the record. That's more times than I laughed the whole entire series of The Bear. Truly, though, but actually, I loved season 2 of The Bear. I'm not going to say, I know Landgraf kind of said this in Mike's story that
one of the best seasons of TV he's ever seen.
Sure.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
It's just not a comedy.
Just not a comedy. And
Great show, though.
And then Limited, Baby Reindeer did a respectable 11, but True Detective did 19.
Well, you look at that limited category. Everyone has double digits. So Baby Reindeer got 11. Fargo got 15. Lessons in Chemistry, which we haven't even
10.
mentioned yet,
Oh
got
my
10.
gosh.
Ripley got 13. And True Detective Night Country got 19. So we're talking about all 5 entrants are heavy hitters.
I thought Lessons in Chemistry aired in 2019.
And you know what's great? What makes that more interesting, because you get into the acting races, right? Like lead actors probably between Ham and Andrew Scott.
Yeah.
Right. Lead actress, that seems like Jodie's to lose, right? So that's True Detective covered.
Mm-hmm.
Supporting actress, definitely going to Baby Reindeer, Jessica Gunning.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And the supporting actor, if it's not Downey Jr. and maybe Jonathan Bailey, who are not nominated. So then there's just like all this like
That's what I mean. There's
nothing equals, like A and B don't have to equal C.
Well, let's talk real quick about supporting actress in a comedy, because if you are Liza Colon-Zayas or Hannah Einbinder or even Janelle James, Cheryl Lee Ralph, a previous winner in this category, but you're all up against Carol Burnett and Meryl Streep as well. So
It's like the two people you don't want to be up against would be Carol Burnett and Meryl Streep. Like, I feel like any list of like the best all-time actors, they are on the top of it. What is going on?
Interesting. I think Carol Burnett really hurts Meryl Streep now. I think two legends.
the legends.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cancel each
The
other out.
legend.
Yeah, the legend vote. Yeah.
So, and then talking about The Bear, because, last year, season 2 really helped. Eben Moss, I always talk about, he wanted season 2 early.
Yeah.
Liza season 3 is, everyone's like, oh, she's going to contend next
Right.
year.
Helps.
So what if she actually emerges now?
But she's not going to beat Meryl Streep or Carol Burnett.
How do we know? I always say, do you remember Annie Murphy?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But
Annie
here's the
Murphy.
thing. Hannah's scene at the end of
Hacks. Yeah.
like everybody
It's
talked about that.
still
Everybody
talking
saw
about
that.
it.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, I know she's up against like the Titans, but
It really depends where people go with the comedy vote. Is it a Hacks ticket or is it a Bear ticket?
Or listen, I know I've been here before, and my buddy said it to me today. He said it to me. He was like, I don't want to like get your hopes up, but this is, if you wanted to go in on an Abbott year, this could be the year that they did it with directing, and they got like everything it needs to win. I mean, it could, and Haxing especially. What do you get? 15, 16? 16, I think, right?
None of us. Of course, we're all like off the list.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
As
Hacks
much as
list.
Hacks got 16.
16, which is very good, but kind of still a weird day, because I got all the actor guesses wrong. Like they went
hard to predict these days.
But I thought they were going to do like Christina Hendricks and J. Smith Cameron, and they did 2 other people. And then I thought they were going to do Christopher McDonald. They did Christopher Lloyd. So I look at that. I'm like, all right, maybe Gene. I think Gene is still really like well suited ish. But this can get really messy really fast.
somebody else who actually scored a ton of nominations was Hans Zimmer. Never won an Emmy, has everything
wild.
else.
Which doesn't sound right.
He could EGOT?
He could EGOT, but he's also up against Justin Paul and Benj Pasek for Only Murders in the Building. So it's like,
This is Tattooist of Auschwitz song
yeah.
that Barbara Streisand did not write, which
But
was
she
crazy.
sang.
But sang.
Yeah.
Like, you're Babs.
So you got two
Put your name on that.
noms for Tattooist and then one for Planet Earth. It's crazy that he hasn't won though,
That
because
is really crazy.
it's like, how many times have they been nominated?
So 2 more big wins today. Girls 5 Eva getting a writing nomination. So,
And Sarah Bareilles got nominated, right?
Yeah, she did.
For
yeah,
song.
for song.
Yeah,
So
that's a
2
big
nominations
deal.
for Girls 5 Eva. It ain't over yet,
Yeah.
kids. It ain't over. And speaking of it ain't over yet, Winning Time. Getting
Oh my
5
That made me really happy.
nominations.
I was really happy to see that.
I remember I was like, we're going to get a weird drama series nominee, and I went with Ahsoka in the end, but I thought it was Ahsoka or Winning Time. That really proves to me that I think Ahsoka or Winning Time were number 9.
I love that.
They flexed. They boasted.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think on that note,
You're outta here.
I'm actually being called to do
Yeah,
another
let's-
radio interview.
Let's
So,
wrap it
All
up.
right.
so
Till next time.
Till next time, we'll be back. But happy
No, we're
Emmys,
not.
everybody.
Never coming back.
Bye bye. The 76th Emmy Awards will be broadcast live from downtown Los Angeles' LA Live Peacock Theater on Sunday, September 15, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. ET and 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. PT on ABC. The broadcast will then be available to be streamed the next day on Hulu. And that's it for this edition of Variety's Award Circuit Podcast. Aaron Greenewald edited this episode, and Michael Schneider is the producer. Be sure to subscribe to the Award Circuit Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts. Also, head on over to Variety.com and click on the Award Circuit tab to find the latest awards predictions and key races, as well as your daily fix of news, analysis, and reviews. For Jazz Tanke, Emily Longaretta, and Clayton Davis, I'm Michael Schneider, and we'll see you on the circuit.